So now that we've gone over Cyclops in its basic form, we're going to show you a lot of the cool things that you can do with the rig. And again, it's really designed to be a low-cost, affordable alternative to a full DSLR rig. So the first thing we can do is, well, let's take it off here to begin with. And you'll see our Cinevate grips. And we've made some changes to the clamp itself, which amounts to, call it micro texturing, if you will. And what we've done is actually increased the amount of clamping force without actually requiring you to have this thing super, super tight. And I can now position this handle in a number of different ways. In this case, I'm going to loosen it right off because I kind of want to make myself a little bit of a camera grip here. So I'm just going to snug this up. The nice thing about these grips is you just kind of adjust them after the fact. And because the clamps are new and micro textured, it gives me the ability to basically get a really nice solid grip without really killing myself to tighten this thing. So in this case, I've kind of created a one handle, and I've created an option here. And again, you could just use one of our shoe mounts. In this case, I've got a shoe mount attached to one of our arms, so I could now potentially, and again, I can loosen this guy off a bit, or girl, if you like. And again, we've left everything loose here for the sake of demonstration. Normally you're going to tighten those things in, but in this case I now have an accessory mounting bracket, and again, all based on the sled. Now if I want to have a grip underneath, that's cool. You can see our little brass nut there, and again, we should snug that up. I'm not going to snug it up in this case. We'll just snug it up like so. And I have the option now of adjusting this any way I like. So in this situation, I now have two grips, one below and one above, and any configuration related to that. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to build this up in yet another configuration to show you how the cage, or a Medusa cage, can essentially be part of this platform system. Now we've essentially turned Cyclops into Medusa, and I know there's some aficionados of lore who will have a good time with that one, but I'm not sure what happens when Cyclops and Medusa get together, but my guess is they've got some pretty groovy looking kids. So in this case, the Cyclops top plate has a 3/8 thread. You can put one of our rails blocks on here, you can run rails underneath, and we also have a clamping system, so you can put transmitters and that sort of thing on there. And the other thing you can do that I've seen people do is you can take, for example, I'm just going to do a little quick transformation here and do something you haven't seen, but we have a few people just using some of our grip bits. So in other words, if I had a transmitter and I wanted to get it off board, I can just take one of these little grip bits, down that goes, and this gives me a 1/4-20 thread front and back. And you can see we've given you a little bit of sneaky thread here, and there's enough to get on there. And you can see on Cyclops, I now have a lot of different options. I know on the last shoot in town here, which was shot on red, they ended up replacing the arms that they were using to hold the viewfinder with these pieces, which worked very, very well. So they've got a lot of uses basically in the industry to hold just about anything. So there you have it, Medusa meets Cyclops. And for a cage option, again, with pretty much limitless possibilities in terms of rigging. All right, so we have now cleverly attached some of our carbon rails to the system. And the first thing Dave asked is, did you want those rails to be offset? And I said yes, because rather than just using two long rails, we're just going to use two of our 30 centimeter rails. And I've got one forward because our follow focus only needs one rail. We only need one forward. Whoops, and if you did want a mat box out front, obviously you're going to need potentially longer rails to make this all work. So in this case, I've just got the one out front. And the one in the back that I've kind of, again, pulled back, I can do a couple different things. I can put one of our Uno type shoulder braces, which will be available as part of this kit. And now what I have is I have a brace against my chest, get my elbows in. I got some nice handles here. I can turn this upside down, by the way, and I could potentially bring this piece into contact with my chest if I wanted, which makes this 3 points of attachment. Typically I would be focusing here, The follow focus, you can see, is strong enough to grab onto, and you're able basically to stabilize your rig with 3 points of attachment.